A new and sobering warning from the Secretary of Homeland Security.
We are definitely in a heightened threat environment, and we are proceeding with vigilance.
Alejandro Mayorkas's comments to CNN mirror those of FBI Director Christopher Wray, who told senators the current threat environment inside the United States is different now from periods, he says, when individual threats popped up here and there.
I've never seen a time where all the threats, or so many of the threats, are all elevated all at exactly the same time. That's what makes this environment that we're in now so fraught.
Would you say that there's multiple blinking red lights out there?
I see blinking lights everywhere I turn.
Wray said the FBI is working, quote, around the clock to disrupt potential attacks by people who are inspired by Hamas's terrorist attacks on Israel on October 7th. Since that day, Wray has spoken often of an increase in threats inside America's borders related to the Israel-Hamas war. What's different about what's happening right now?
Director Wray is talking about is the threat stream has become a bit of a waterfall. You're seeing threats come from foreign terrorist organizations, ISIS and al-Qaeda, domestic violent extremists. These are people who are following the propaganda coming from overseas who could be lone wolf attackers.
Experts say the constant stream of televised images of October 7th and the Israel-Hamas war has led to a flood of propaganda from terrorist groups and extremists from all sides. Propaganda and often misinformation that can be almost impossible to filter.
They exist on message boards, they exist in chat rooms, they exist in private groups, they exist in large groups.
And the spike in anti-Semitic and Islamophobic threats and attacks has been significant, from the wounding of 3 Palestinian college students in Vermont to a Cornell University student being charged with threatening to kill Jewish students.
The greatest danger is that lone offender who may be isolated, may be ostracized, and who is reading these messages and saying, I could step out and do something.
Analysts say the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, even before October 7th, has often been a touch point for hatred in the U.S.
What you're seeing are individuals who are taking the justification that they've been looking for and using it to go do the violence. These are individuals who have long wanted to commit violence, have long been, filled with that hatred of Jews, of Muslims, of individuals who are not in their in-group.
On the difficult task of trying to protect the public from this violence, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas says U.S. government agencies have just put out brand new guidance to faith-based institutions with specific suggestions, ranging from building fencing and installing security cameras at places of worship to encouraging religious leaders to develop their own relationships with law enforcement. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.